So Visions of Mana was just released yesterday. This is a very big game, a very highly anticipated game, and that's mainly because of the IP itself, the Mana IP, so it is owned by Square Enix. Now, there are 4 mainline games in this IP, but the thing is that the last game was actually made 25 years ago. Yeah, and one of those 4 games is Secret of Mana for the SNES. That game has like a huge cult following. It's actually on my list of turn-based JRPGs to play someday. Hopefully I'll get to it sometime. So yeah, super highly anticipated game, Visions of Mana. Like I said, it just came out yesterday. Now looking at gameplay just right off the bat, I think this game looks fantastic. The graphics kind of remind me of Dragon Quest XI. It's bright, it's colorful, it just looks like a great JRPG, you know, in modern times. But like I said, the main thing is that, to my understanding, this is a hugely, highly anticipated game because of the IP that it belongs to and because it's been 25 years since a main game. Now, this is the very, very weird thing here. So yesterday, this game was released, and also yesterday, there was a big story that broke that all started with a Bloomberg report, which is basically alleging that the studio behind this Visions of Mana game is already set up to be shut down by its owner. Yeah, I mean, the reviews aren't even in, we weren't even through day 1 of the game being out, and already a hugely credible source, Bloomberg, is saying that the studio, Ouka Studio, is going to be shut down by its owner, NetEase. So here's the thing, Visions of Mana is a Square Enix IP, but it looks like they sort of outsourced the new developer known as Ouka Studios to make this game. Now the thing is, Ouka Studios is owned by NetEase. Now if you're unfamiliar, NetEase is basically a huge multimedia technology company in China. Now it looks like just in 2020 they formed Ouka Studios, so yeah, it's only been around for not even 5 years now. Now Ouka Studios is based out of Japan, and it looks like NetEase basically had the plan of Ouka Studios developing games on next-gen consoles. Now there's not really a dedicated page I can find for Ouka Studios, but if I were to guess, I would say that Visions of Mana is probably their first and only game that they've ever released, since they've only been around for, like I said, less than 5 years now, and Visions of Mana is not like a small indie 2D game. I mean, it is a fully fledged, I don't know if I want to call it maybe even a AAA game. So yeah, that's what's really bizarre here. Like, less than 5 years ago, NetEase forms this studio, only for it to develop its first game, which is a very highly anticipated game, and then on day 1, it leaks that they have plans to completely dissolve this company. Now, of course, right now, this is all alleged. Apparently, NetEase has basically said we have no comment on this, which, I don't know, to me, if they're not just coming out and saying, no, this is completely incorrect, to me, in my opinion, that means, yeah, this is probably true. This actually is happening. Now, according to this report, NetEase has pretty much gotten rid of all of the staff at Ouka Studios, minus a small pool of staff people that are just there for the time being to basically, I guess, continue managing and updating Visions of Mana. And the plan is that eventually, once all of that is kind of complete, then they will get rid of them as well, and then the studio will be completely dissolved. And like I said, since this game, I believe, is their first game, and it was day 1 that this was leaked out, it's really anyone's guess why NetEase is shutting down Ouka Studios. Now, a lot that I have read has made the point that the 2 big Chinese technology companies, which are NetEase and Tencent, have both recently been showing signs that they are not as interested in investing in Japanese companies and studios to work on projects. And from what I've read, people are saying that essentially it's because a lot of these Japanese video game companies are focused on kind of lower budget, smaller projects, almost like, you know, indie games, whereas Tencent and NetEase in China, they are a lot more interested in kind of big picture, like AAA projects. Yeah, and I mean, we've heard reports kind of recently from other companies, not just Tencent and NetEase, that basically are suggesting that a lot of these big companies are not very interested in investing in these AAA single-player games. Rather, they are much more interested in, like, live service games, because at the end of the day, right now anyway, in the market that we're in with video games, live service games just kind of make more money, especially if you do it right. Your earnings are a lot more than what you get from a single-player game. So, I mean, you know, that's kind of speculation, really, but, I mean, if this is true, it really is too bad for Ouka Studios. Obviously, I haven't played the game yet. I mean, like I said, I still have to play the SNES game. That's still on my to-play list. But yeah, the game looks awesome, and I mean, this whole situation is just sad. It almost reminds me even of, like, Microsoft shutting down Tango Gameworks like months after Hi-Fi Rush coming out, and Hi-Fi Rush was extremely successful. Yeah, actually, come to think of it, this reminds me a lot of the whole Tango Gameworks Microsoft Hi-Fi Rush thing. Only this situation, in my opinion, is even weirder. I mean, like I said, this is day one that this was leaked out, which means it was way before day one when NetEase made the decision to shut down Ouka Studios. Definitely too bad to hear, so, I mean, once this story gets confirmed, if it does get confirmed, I'd be very interested to know kind of what all has been going on behind the scenes, and what all of the staff at Ouka Studios were given as justification for their shutdown, despite Visions of Mana not even being released yet.